The future prospects for the economic location of Germany, and thus for the prosperity of the country and its citizens, look alarming. If politics does not promptly change course, Germany will mercilessly fail due to its ideology-driven energy policy, non-competitive tax, education, and digitalization policies, bureaucratic nonsense, and unsustainable social and migration policies. The success of the industrial nation Germany depends on having sufficient affordable energy. If energy is much more expensive or, in extreme cases, barely available compared to other international economic locations, even the best specialists and the most advanced corporate infrastructure will no longer be of help. Germany's energy policy is not seen as a role model but rather raises eyebrows internationally. In 2019, the Wall Street Journal referred to Germany's energy policy as the dumbest energy policy in the world. Until now, Germany's energy transition has burdened its citizens and economy with some of the highest electricity prices worldwide and has severely damaged the economic location of Germany. Now, disregarding the opinions of numerous experts and politicians at home and abroad, the German federal government is likely leading the country into an even greater energy policy catastrophe. Compared to its major economic competitors, the United States and China, Germany is becoming increasingly expensive and continuously losing attractiveness and competitiveness. The consequence is that companies are scaling back their investments in Germany and, if possible, relocating their production to more cost-effective foreign countries or even closing their doors in Germany altogether. The country faces an unprecedented deindustrialization threat. In October 2022, BASF, the largest chemical company in the world by revenue, announced that it would need to permanently downsize in Europe due to high energy costs, which increasingly make the region uncompetitive. This announcement came after BASF opened the first part of its new €10 billion plastics technology facility in China the previous month. According to Der Spiegel in May 2023, the Volkswagen Group currently sees no opportunity to establish a second battery factory at its home base in Lower Saxony. The reason given is that energy prices in Germany are too high. The competition is rejoicing. Companies are not only being lured from Germany to the United States with cheap energy and low taxes. Pat Wilson, the Minister of Economic Development of Georgia, stated, "Our energy costs are low, and the networks are stable." Furthermore, the phase-out of coal has already been decided, and by 2024, Georgia will connect 2 new nuclear power plants to the grid. Companies that come to Georgia reduce their carbon footprint. Instead of exploiting all possible energy resources for political and ideological reasons, Germany has definitively abandoned nuclear power. In conclusion, if energy prices in Germany remain excessively high compared to international standards, the deindustrialization of Germany will continue unabated. It is evident to everyone, especially since the Greens joined the federal government, that in Germany, ideological thinking in politics has displaced rational thinking and a sense of reality. The party led by the Minister of Economic Affairs, Habeck, advocates banning fracking but import significant amounts of fracked gas. They oppose gas and oil drilling in the North and Baltic Seas but import North Sea oil from Norway on a large scale. On one hand, Germany shut down its last 3 remaining nuclear power plants in April, while economic competitors like China, India, and the USA are planning new nuclear power plants. Furthermore, the German government intends to continue importing nuclear power from neighboring countries in the future. On the other hand, 6 out of Europe's 10 dirtiest coal-fired power plants are still operational in Germany, and in November and December 2022, most of Germany's electricity was generated by these notorious CO2 emitters, coal power plants. None of this can be explained as part of climate protection. If the so-called heat transition unfolds as the green policies envision, it will be nothing short of an attack on the middle class, leading to the definitive division of the country. Many politicians are still driven by the vision of saving the world and attempt to convert others with a morally superior stance, imposing their ideological worldview. Germany does not play a significant global role politically or in terms of population, nor does it account for a significant percentage of global CO2 emissions, with only 1.85% of the total global emissions. The world will not be converted by German politicians, nor can Germany save the world. Similarly, the world will not follow Germany's energy, tax, education, digitalization, and migration policies. The world is engaged in a global competition of achievement. Countries, systems, and economic locations compete with each other, striving to attract the best talents and high performers. Those who are smart, have the right idea, coupled with risk awareness and hard work, can still amass considerable wealth in today's world. However, in certain political parties in Germany, a different wind is blowing. It is unmistakable that the motto in a country with one of the highest tax and burden rates globally, and a gigantic welfare state, is to redistribute wealth instead of promoting wealth creation. In short, it's redistribution instead of merit. The only way to sustain the welfare state at such a high level, especially during times of recession, given the constraints of the debt brake, assuming it is adhered to, is through even higher taxes and burdens. In the long run, Germany's welfare state is unsustainable. Education is the most important aspect for a country like Germany, whose wealth is not resource-based. Germany has long lost its position at the forefront of education. According to a recent study, a quarter of fourth graders already fail to meet the minimum standards. The share of young people without basic academic skills is reported to be 23.8%, according to the IFO Institute for Economic Research. This does not bode well for the future. Not a single German university is ranked among the top 49 universities in the world. Instead of vigorously promoting the intellectual elite, everything is being equalized, and the standards are continuously lowered. Rather than providing elite schools for all, and not just for those whose parents can afford expensive private schools and universities, the focus is on lowering standards and promoting comprehensive schools. While all individuals have equal rights, they are certainly not all equal. When nearly 8 times more tax money flows to the Federal Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs in a resource-poor country than to the Federal Ministry of Education and Research, it is a catastrophe for the economic location and the future of Germany. None of the major tech companies like Amazon, Alphabet, Apple, Nvidia, Meta, Microsoft, Samsung, Tesla, TMC, Tencent, etc., originate from Germany or Europe. Currently, Europe is falling behind in terms of artificial intelligence, AI. AI will significantly determine the competitiveness of economies in the not-too-distant future. China and the USA have long recognized this, investing a substantial amount of money in AI and most likely establishing an insurmountable lead over Europe. As early as 2018, Die Zeit wrote, "Europe is out of the game, China and the USA dominate the future at the World Conference on Artificial Intelligence in Shanghai." Back then, everyone was there, not only the bosses of Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu, Huawei, and Xiaomi but also top executives from Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Nobel laureates, and leading AI researchers from Stanford, Berkeley, and Cambridge. Now they are beginning to reap the fruits of their labor, while Germany and the rest of Europe are once again left behind. Germany and Europe have already missed the train to the 21st century. The future will not happen in Germany or other European countries but in the USA and Asia. Germany is known for its exhausting and insufficiently digitized bureaucracy. In terms of digitizing public services, Germany performs worse than Greece, which destroys jobs and hinders new technologies and innovations. In short, Germany's bureaucracy makes the country unattractive for entrepreneurs and business founders. There can only be 2 reasons that explain the digital misery in Germany's administration. Either there is a lack of competence among those responsible, or there is a lack of funding to drive the digitization of German offices and authorities. If it is a competence issue, the responsible individuals must be replaced, as is customary in the private sector. If it is a money issue, it is worth considering why numerous EU countries, which are net recipients, are much further ahead in digitizing their offices and authorities compared to Germany. In this context, the question arises as to why German taxpayers' money is used to simplify the lives of citizens and businesses outside of Germany, thus giving these countries a competitive advantage, while this simplification is delayed in Germany. If it is indeed a money issue, then the question arises as to why tax money from Germany is being distributed elsewhere. From 2000 to 2021, Germany paid over €212 billion more to the EU than it received, despite the urgent need for digitalization within the country. The fact is, if Germany does not significantly reduce bureaucracy and rigorously digitize its administration, the country will ultimately lose its place among the world's leading nations. The automotive industry is still a cash cow. In 2022, companies in the sector generated nearly €506 billion and employed approximately 734,000 workers. More than two-thirds of vehicles produced in Germany are exported abroad. However, due to high energy and labor costs, the production location in Germany is continuously losing its attractiveness. IFO President Fuß stated, "One-third of production is gone, and nobody knows if it will come back." Soon, the wave of cheap electric cars from China will hit Germany. Chinese automakers, mostly under state control, produce at significantly lower wages, with more relaxed environmental regulations and much cheaper energy. German automakers have particularly lost ground in the electric vehicle market. Automotor Sport stated, German electric cars are either too expensive, not digitally connected enough, or cannot keep up with their Chinese competitors in terms of important data. Now, the era of almost unknown brands in Europe, such as BYD, Geely, NIO, XPeng, and Great Wall, begins. In China, the state-of-the-art mid-size sedan, the BYD Seal, with a profit margin of around 4%, costs approximately €25,000. The mid-size SUV, Volkswagen ID.4, with a profit margin of around 3%, costs at least €45,000 in Germany with a similar equipment level as the BYD Seal. Moreover, the VW is 20 centimeters shorter and inferior in battery technology. This situation will not work in the long run. The automotive industry in Germany will significantly shrink, and automakers may gradually relocate their production and even their headquarters abroad for cost reasons, as Unilever and Shell did by moving their headquarters from the Netherlands to London for tax purposes. The fact is, China is inexorably on its way to becoming the #1 auto exporter. Once electric motors replace combustion engines, China will flood and eventually dominate the German and European markets with cheap electric cars. The restructuring of the global production structure will trigger a new wave of deindustrialization in Europe. The relocation of automobile production will have even greater impacts than the migration of the steel, electronics, or shipbuilding industries in the past. High labor costs make Germany an unattractive location for employers, while low net incomes deter urgently needed skilled workers from abroad. According to the Taxpayers Association, the income burden rate in 2022 was already around 53%. In Germany, companies now pay around 10 percentage points more in taxes than the EU average. The top income tax rate is 42% and applies to earnings over €62,810 per year. Incomes above €277,826 per year are taxed at 45%. In the United States, for example, the top tax rate of 37% applies to incomes over $539,900. When highly sought-after IT professionals in Switzerland or the United States earn twice as much or even significantly more than in Germany, with much lower tax burdens, it should be clear to everyone how the future of Germany as a business location is at stake. Germany has a tax system that is hostile to high achievers and internationally non-competitive. Without tax cuts for citizens and businesses, neither highly qualified experts from abroad will come, nor will Germany gain attractiveness as a business location. More than half of German companies struggle to fill open positions, despite having over 2.5 million unemployed individuals and millions of immigrants in recent years. In 2022 alone, there was a shortage of over 340,000 professionals in mathematics, computer science, natural sciences, and technology, collectively known as STEM fields. The Boston Consulting Group predicts that Germany will face a shortage of around 1.1 million professionals in computer science and mathematics by 2030. On one hand, millions of mostly unskilled and low-skilled individuals immigrated in recent decades, while on the other hand, hundreds of thousands of highly skilled individuals, 3/4 of immigrants from Germany hold a university degree, emigrated. This migration model is not sustainable and cannot function in the long run. Without skilled professionals from abroad, there is a risk of a significant economic downturn, loss of value creation, and prosperity. Currently, Germany is highly attractive to unskilled and low-skilled individuals but entirely unappealing to highly skilled professionals. If the policies regarding energy, taxes and levies, digitalization, education, and migration continue as they have been, the government will not solve the problems of the skilled labor shortage or uncontrolled migration of unskilled and low-skilled individuals.